Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. So we are now live and I'm gonna give everybody just a few minutes to come into the room. We got some stuff to talk about tonight, y'all. This may or may not get a little spicy because there's been some interesting things going on and I could kind of feel it in my spirit. I think my light a little too bright. Oh, there we go. That look a little better. All right. Hey, Helena. Hey, Hot Retarded Chick. Hey, Project 704 from Charlotte. Woo. Hey, Black Introvert. Hey, Black Panther. Hey, Levon. Levon said he didn't get my notification. Helena said Yang dropped out, y'all. No, I have not saw that. Chat said the same thing. You heard about Yang dropping out of the race. This must have just happened within the last 2 hours. Cause I knew nothing. Thank you, Black Introvert. Hey, Derek. Hey, Pelu. I think I got that right this time. Oh, he's that's funny. Okay. Oh, yeah. Helena said just happened 15 minutes. Chat said, give me my $1,000. Need that now. Well, doesn't look like it's going to happen. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Hey, Elwood. We got Elwood in the building from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So, okay, we got Elwood Ivy and Elwood Bailey in the building. But y'all, so Yang dropped out. I don't know how to feel about that right now because y'all kind of springing this on me. So Derek said heard they got mad at Yang for what he said about abortion. I came across that and let me know if I remember correctly. He basically said we have to do something to try to have less or either less abortions or not as many late-term abortions, something. I can't remember if this is exactly what he said, but I think something in that realm, if I'm not mistaken. But I was actually just thinking about that today, right? Because I made a video earlier. I posted it earlier today if y'all did not see it, about PETA and how PETA is basically the founder of PETA and the PETA movement, right, wants us to start referring to our animals as companions and not pets. And so this person just gave me some feedback, critique, whatever. I don't really care. This fine. That's what's up. But as y'all notice, a lot of times when I say stuff like progressive, conservative, liberal, and things like that, I tend to believe that a lot of us are more nuanced than we believe. And I think that politics has become so freaking polarizing, right? So you have people attached to certain philosophies or groups, but holding to certain things that they may be more nuanced on. If I remember correctly, it was Bernie that came out maybe a couple weeks ago. Now, y'all, because I don't want to be in here lying. Y'all know I don't lie. So if I lie, it wasn't on purpose. But if I remember correctly, this was Bernie a couple of weeks ago that said there were no room for people that weren't pro-choice in the DNC. And to me, those type of things are problematic because it's like, who writes these rules? And then you end up having a lot of people that's like, okay, where do I go? And then if you look at this, you have people like Tomi Lahren, I think that's how you say her name, Tomi Lahren, whatever, who are pro-life conservatives. And then you have people like Katrina Jackson. I don't know why I put her name. I think I'm just getting used to doing this now. Katrina Jackson. She's down in the South somewhere. I can't remember where. It's not too far from me, but I can't remember if it's like Alabama or Tennessee. It might be Alabama. But Katrina Jackson, she's a whole life. Wait, what do you call it? Full life? Something Democrat, right? So she's basically a pro-life Democrat, but they had their own little term for it. And so, those are just two examples of people that have these nuances. And then you have some voters that are one voter issue. They vote on one issue. And then you just have nuanced people. And we're getting to a point where you're being bullied and you're being kicked out. It's funny because it kind of crosses and dips into certain things, right? Like, even if you just think about like the LGBT movement, right? You have people that will literally tell you you're not a real LGBT because you don't agree with these bullet points. Like, that's where we're going. So particularly if you actually watch my content, and the people in this room, the people that come to my lives and y'all like grace me with your presence, y'all really have, I feel like, a more overall understanding of my views around stuff, because it's way more of like an intimate setting. You kind of get to hear me actually talk through my thoughts and stuff like that, as opposed to just peeking in and watching a 5 to 10 minute video. But we've really gotten to this point where, even with, progressiveness, right? Like, if you really think about it, and if you really know what's going on, the way progressiveness is marketed and presented to us, there's only a small part of the country that are actually progressives, right? But yet you kind of have the media and politicians acquiescing to these movements. And this is why I often make fun of progressiveness. This is why I often talk about how the media and even politicians now are giving this limelight to the most radical voices of each of these groups. And then it leaves a lot of us over here. No, I'm not gay, y'all. I was speaking in, oh my God. No, I'm not gay. But I've seen people within the LGBTQ movement share that sentiment. Like, I can't even come out, I'm a gay man, or I'm a gay woman, or lesbian, whatever. I'm a transgender. I've seen them share these sentiments, and it's like, but I can't even speak out on certain things because I'm bullied, I'm ousted, I'm, all these other things. But yeah, it's creating, you have these radicals being pushed to the forefront of all of these movements, and it's so polarizing. It's creating so much friction. And then we are the ones that are, we get the short end of the stick. I watched Kim Iverson. I think that's how Iverson is her last name. She's a political commentator on YouTube, and I don't agree with everything she says, but she does have some really good content. And I was watching this one particular video that she did today, and she was talking about how they are literally trying to push this vote blue no matter who thing. And she was saying how it's so detrimental because they're basically trying to force people into accepting establishment candidates, right? And she went on to talk about how the media will come in and have us focusing on things that in the big scheme of things really don't affect our everyday lives as much as the actual freaking policy, right? The policy. And so this is why oftentimes when something is going on, I tell y'all, oh my God, do you know that in California, they're literally trying to push legislation that would penalize people for not voting? These are the things we need to know way more than, oh, such and such said, you know, they don't like this type of person, or just whatever. They don't believe in this. Okay, yeah, we can talk about that too, you know, whatever, for entertainment purposes or whatever the case may be. But we are literally being distracted from the things that actually impact and affect us the most, to focus on dribble. So but yeah, so y'all know, and I know I have people all across the political spectrum that follow me. I often make fun of progressiveness, because when you just actually look at progressiveness and the way it's being marketed to us, it's literally the newest, hippest, most far out rule or something they could think of that they try to impose on people, whether that be through, it's usually through speech, right? That's one of the biggest ways that we've been seeing a lot lately. That's why I talked about the whole PETA thing. And y'all know I freaking believe in slippery slopes. It was only 4 or 5 years ago, come on now, where gay marriage was legalized. And now today, here we are having to discuss with the kids whether a girl is a boy, or a boy is a girl, or is a boy is a boy, or is a girl a girl. So don't tell me slippery slopes don't exist. And that's where I kind of don't understand progressiveness, because it's like, who makes the rules? Where does it end? And we have to also look at the social engineering that goes in with this as well, right? People can laugh and think I'm just, you know, kind of making these things, and you know, I'm not really not a fear mongerer. I don't be trying to like, oh, the sky is falling, but I do want y'all to be aware of what's actually going on. And social engineering is how the legislation is pushed. These things start as social issues, social conversations, and then the lawmakers push it into legislation. That's how that works. So we have to be very mindful of our languaging, our discussions, things that are happening as a society, right? And particularly when you have an organization like PETA, right? PETA is a powerful organization. You have the leader of PETA saying things, then they're the most radical ideas are given a platform, and then you have these minions that follow whatever blue checks say, and they start agreeing, and then the next thing you know, PETA is funding these candidates to push certain legislation. This is how this happens, y'all. So So we just have to be mindful. We have to be forward thinking. We have to pay attention. And sometimes you have to kind of push, you know, all that other stuff aside to see like, okay, how can this end up affecting policy? How can this end up affecting, you know, me on a personal level? My child in the schools, the public schools are ran and funded by the government. So these are conversations to be had. But even going, into that, and agenda and politics and how they kind of mesh, right? So The whole Gail interview, right? So, and hey Kenny, and hey to everybody just coming in the room. Hey sir. But so the whole Gail interview, right? So Gail does this interview and she asks Lisa Leslie, these questions about Kobe. And a lot of people, I had already discussed this, because, in some ways, journalists, they do have a job to do. Y'all also have to remember that this energy is money. All right. I want y'all to understand that. Energy translates into money. I don't care if it's negative energy. I don't care if it's positive energy. It translates into money. Now, what happens is, yes, some people may lose money, right? Because let's say people get mad about this Gayle King statement, right? This is not going to happen, but this does happen in some cases, right? Where people are canceled or whatever the case may be. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy. The establishment, the media, whoever has money to replace you. You can easily be replaced. So as that person is canceled and replaced, they bring another blue check in to keep bringing in clicks and views. So y'all have to remember that. Like every single time we get mad about something, we're hashtagging, we're viewing, we clicking, we want to go watch every person going off on Gayle and everybody defending Gayle. That's money. So yes, they know that y'all react. There have been studies proving this. I have done content on this. I have shown y'all. I don't think it was like statistics, but some type of studies and the facts based on this. Thank you, Kenny. Kenny said, love the content, sis. Keep it up. Thank you. That's a nice picture, Kenny. I see you. Okay, go on now. But he changed his profile pic, y'all. But yeah, so I just lost my thought. I'm over here looking at Kenny. Let me stop playing. But so all that translates into revenue. And yes, people may or may not be canceled, but they're going to bring your replacement in and the agenda goes forward. So, I was saying about the study. So this was probably a couple of months ago. I've shown y'all where they have done studies to show that y'all go click on the stuff that makes you the happiest of the happiest or the mad of the maddest. This has been proven. Okay? There is a formula to this. It is so interesting to me, social engineering, social programming, that I understand the clickbait and even knowing that certain content, I know. Do y'all remember my what's the guy's name? Dave Chappelle video? That was a perfect example. I have thousands of views on that video, right? People assuming I'm some rabid feminist and I hate Dave Chappelle and the First Amendment and all this stuff, and they want to just click. I had people commenting this. I clicked this video just to leave you this nasty comment. They were telling me this. So we cannot continue to be surprised, right? We cannot continue to be surprised that the media is doing what they do. The media is doing what sells. I remember getting personally offended by people like Don Lemon and Angela Rye and Mark Lamont Hill. I'm like, y'all have all this influence. Why are you not more nuanced? Why are you not more truthful? Why do you not give a broader picture? Because it doesn't butter their bread and it's not what y'all buy. It's not what y'all buy. Maybe because we're in a digital age, some people aren't making the connection, right? But think about magazines on a rack, right? You're going to Walmart, you're going through the line, you see all these magazines on a rack. I love that. Sorry said this is what you call emotional capital. I love that. I gotta use that. I love that. But think about you going into the grocery store and all these magazines on the rack. You have to think about these corporations like that. Now they're just digital. These media platforms, now they're just digital, and they are competing for your attention. All of that turns into revenue. And that's just what that is. And so, yes, I may be a little disappointed that those faces that pushing those agendas look so much like me. Yes, it's disappointing. It's frustrating. But at the end of the day, I remember that these people are doing a job. They are buttering their bread, and we are funding them as they do so. But anyway, so more about this I Stand With Gayle thing. So, hey, Manny, and everybody just coming into the room. So, more about this Gayle King thing, right? So, you have all these media personalities coming out, agreeing, I stand with Gayle. Michael Eric Dyson, Roland Martin, Janelle Burrell, Mark Lamont Hill, Al Sharpton. You have all these people coming out. I stand with Gayle. How is it, right, that the blue checks, the black blue checks even, get in line that quickly? How is it that all of the media personalities just seem to have this same position, and somehow they redirected this conversation to be about misogyny? How is that? Is that by accident? Is it by accident that these people, and I hate the term. If y'all can give me another term, I'm going to write it down. But I'll use the term gatekeepers, because when I say that, I feel like people know what I'm talking about, okay? If you have a synonym for me, drop it in the chat, because, I'll switch it out if I find a better one. But you have all these blue checks coming out all of a sudden. I stand with Gayle. Now the discussion becomes about misogyny. And now it becomes even more of a solidified gender war. This is what we call diversion, and this is what we call social programming. They literally flipped the whole script. And not only that, right? First of all, I kept seeing people saying or implying that Snoop Dogg kind of implied that he was going to come after her. Now, I didn't see any clips to suggest that was the case. I don't know if I overlooked it or I didn't hear him say that or whatever the case may be. Now, I know allegedly she was getting death threats, allegedly. But I did not see where he called for any harm or violence to come to her. Now, did he have some harsh words for her? Absolutely. Because he didn't like what she said. And so he had some hard words for her. But when we are talking about holding somebody responsible or addressing what this one person says, and somehow we automatically turn this into a misogynistic thing instead of I didn't like this, I was mad that she said this, and this is about her and not about all women. So this is being pushed, and the narrative being switched for a reason. Not only that, then you got your girl Oprah. Oprah comes in, she's pulling cards, kicking butts and taking names. She done pulled out the getting everybody who thought they were gonna go against the fray, getting them back in line. So you have this girl, Ari Lennox. I actually like her music. Sometimes I like her personality. Sometimes, she is a little much. But you have Ari Lennox. Some of y'all may or may not be familiar with her. She's a very, very new artist. She's under J. Cole's label. I can't even think of the label right now. So her video went viral, and she's calling she's calling them kale and okra, and she's just talking about how terrible they are, and she doesn't care how much money they have, that this was wrong, what they're doing, and going against the black men's image and all this. So a couple of days later, Ari Lennox retracts her statement, even to the point, Dreamville, that's right, thank you, P. Lou. She retracts her statement even to the point of saying, I'm done with social media. I'm not saying anything else. I'm shutting up. I hurt y'all. I offended y'all. No. Okay? You're a small fish in the pan. You're a small fish in a pond. Okay? You're working under bigger fish. You're around bigger fish. You're on this big fish label. Somebody made a call and was like, look, if you want to keep your career, you better get in line. That's how that goes. So, tell me this. Now, let's put it together. Let's think about it. If one person, Snoop Dogg, saying something as a response to this interview, and the whole narrative not only being changed, not only the whole narrative being changed, but you have all these blue checks getting in line of the narrative. Y'all don't think that's happening in politics? Y'all don't think that's happening when it comes to social agendas? Y'all don't think that? If Oprah and Gayle have the power to pull cards, to have these people apologizing, to have all the black blue checks coming out, I stand with Gayle, I stand with Gayle, I stand with Gayle, I stand with Gayle, misogyny, toxic masculinity. I said it better than you, misogyny, misogynist, misogynist. If all that can happen in a matter of days, y'all honestly don't think these people, even higher than Oprah, make calls when people get out of line politically, socially? Y'all don't think these people are on one accord to push certain agendas? At this point, it should be obvious. And how is it that so often, so many times, there's such a disconnect from the people? How is that? Just none of them happen to almost be on the side of the people? That they just happen to be that much alike and think that much alike. We believe that. This really reminds me of when that Harriet movie came out, and a lot of people just weren't feeling it. They weren't feeling it. Same thing. All the freaking blue checks in line. Support Harriet. This is an awesome movie. This is what were they trying to say? True to history. And white bounty hunter. What was it? Black bounty hunters did exist. This, that, and the other. So just none of y'all just happen to even remotely kind of agree with the people. Not even one of y'all. Everybody that just that has a blue check just happens to agree about this movie. What's the odds of that? What a coincidence. You cannot, if this is not opening people's eyes to what's going on, I don't know like what it'll take. But this is the epitome of them trying to control the narrative. This is the epitome of getting the establishment, because that's who these people are, media establishment people. This is peak getting the establishment in line. This is it, people, right in front of your face. It's so blatantly obvious. And if you do not think that translates into every single thing these people are the things they promote and do not promote politically and socially, I have a beautiful, beautiful river a few feet from Mississippi that I would like to sell you. So just know they were a little sloppy with it and a little obvious with it. But this is what happens when you see all these celebrities coming out kind of all agreeing and pushing something. Know that there is social engineering that is happening. And when you go back to thinking about Ari Lennox, do you always have people that are the social engineers? No, but they are complicit by falling in line. So that's how that happens. And I've told y'all, I was just on the phone talking about this about an hour ago. If y'all only knew the true politics and social beliefs of a lot of y'all faves, if y'all really knew the truth, these people are not as monolithic as they pretend to be. And they always end up on the side that butters their bread. Money and agenda. Follow the money. And a person with the most money is usually the one engineering and pushing the agenda. That's just how it works. So when I saw all those people just falling into line, I was like, wow, y'all just, and it was the same. I'm thinking of more examples now. It was the same way with Kamala Harris. Like, so just none of the media personalities could understand our concerns with Kamala Harris. Just none of them agreed. None of them got it. They just all happened, just all happened to really like and support Kamala Harris. Now, what's the odds? Or even so, right? Even if they, even if I'm rolling the dice and they just all happen to like her, what's the chances of nobody really going onto the news, going onto their platforms and being the one to say, look, I like Kamala Harris. I like what she's doing, but we have to get some credence to these people's concerns. That's too much like right. So, but hopefully, I really feel like this is the year of reckoning, realization, awareness. I see a lot of pushback going against the establishment. If you are not on Twitter, Twitter is a place to be because that's where all the news hits first. You must be on Twitter. But I said this, it is pinned on my Twitter. Black people are not accepting the same old BS politics and entertainment anymore. We're not doing it. We're calling out the BS. We are waking up. We are paying attention, and you're not going to be getting away with the same stuff anymore. And yes, it's going to look like a small number of us because a lot of this is happening on social media. They're not going to get on CNN and tell you that this is happening. CNN is going to try to cover their tails because the older generation that's set in their ways, sitting there watching it, they need to keep them in that programming. But the rebellion is happening. Just like Levon said, it's happening. It's happening. And hopefully we can get other people to catch on and get these things sparked and going. But it's definitely happening, and I love to see it. Like, I'm loving every minute of it. Like, even sometimes, you know, the particular whatever is going on, I may or may not agree, or I may just not care. You know what I mean? Like, when it be coming to these movies and stuff like that, y'all know I really just don't care about that stuff. But I love to see people sticking up for their image. Like, if you're going to represent us, do it the right way, in a positive way, or we don't have to support you. I mean, it's just that simple. I don't see anything wrong with it. You cannot bully me into buying your movie, especially when it's a negative image of me. Like, no. Helena J said the revolution will not be televised. That's absolutely right. But all right, y'all. So let's talk about your boy Dwayne Wade. So Dwayne Wade was on the Ellen show, and I can't show the clip because obviously y'all know they'll flag my channel. But if you have not actually, you know, if you haven't seen the clip, you've probably at least heard people talking about it. So Dwayne Wade comes out and says his then son is now girl daughter, even changing his name. And what I'm seeing on social media is a lot of resounding praise for Dwayne Wade all of a sudden being this great father and great husband, even though it was just a couple of years ago when people hated him and was trashing him and he was the worst husband and father for having his outside baby. But, you know, narrative change. And so he's gone from that to super dad. So he goes on Ellen and, you know, he's talking about his child's sexuality. Yes, that is the word he used. Okay. He used the word sexuality. Go back and watch the interview. Because some people going to say, oh, this is not about sexuality. It's about gender. Okay. Well, you sit up here way comfortable talking about something to people and promoting this and doing this for your child. And obviously, he don't have some type of understanding of it. That's all I'm getting from that. But yeah, so I mean, you know what? It's life. People, that's his child. I can't do anything about that. What I will say is that, and I've talked about this before. This is my personal take on this. I absolutely 100% believe in parents loving their children. I absolutely believe in parents loving their children, showing love for their children, but I also believe in parents being honest and guiding their children. I, I would support my son being a choir director, a hairstylist, uh, 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 you know, wanting to be one of the boys that throw the girls up in the air, whatever, okay? Hobbies, that's fine. But what I would not do as a parent, I would not succumb to my child's delusions. I would not do that. A boy is not a girl. A girl is not a boy. Something in me wants to put this in more graphic terms, but I'm not even gonna go there tonight. But they are not the same. This is where the slippery slopes happens. Okay. You can call it what you want, but maybe some of y'all don't remember, but it was only just about 4 to 5 years ago when gay marriage was legalized. Only 4 to 5 years ago. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm almost certain it was only 4 to 5 years ago. Now, somehow, in just this amount of time, we've gone from not knowing the difference from a boy and a girl. We are really going as far as to call boys daughters and girls sons. That is something I do not support, I do not believe in, and I will never. Mostly because obviously we have biology, we have all type of statistics to show whether we're talking about hand size, we're talking about the size of the skull, we're literally talking about the tilt of the pelvis, we're talking about the thickness of the skin, we're talking about typical jawbone structure, childbearing. We're talking about growth of breast. There are so many things that I can name. All right. Being a man or a woman are such real concepts. They are such real concepts that even after death, when your skin melts from your bones, ashes to ashes and dust to dust, they can pull up that skeleton and be able to tell whether this is a female skeleton or a male skeleton. All right. If you are, they can even do so much research, even on skeletons. I've talked about this before, where they can tell you most likely what region you lived in. They can tell you your race. There are certain identifiers that they can look at to tell you these things. So this idea otherwise, it makes absolutely no sense, and nobody wants to say that. You can feel however you want to feel. Okay, we are all free to that. We are all free to that. But even something as simple as me as a researcher wanting to be able to look up data and say, how many women does this affect? How many men does this affect without it being skewed? That is very important when it comes to things like census, medical records, and all type of statistics. But these are the things that people don't want to think about. I have absolutely no problem identifying somebody as a trans man or trans woman. I don't see how in just 4 to 5 years we've gone to where it is literally unacceptable to call a person what they are, a trans man or a trans woman, when it's the truth. So now you must refer to a trans person, a trans man as a man, a trans woman as a woman, even though we know they went through this transition. So apparently, I'm assuming it's offensive now. And this is what I mean when I say social engineering. Now they're pushing us to the point where it's even socially wrong to identify or understand people as trans men and women. They have to be just men or women. So not only does that not even give nuance, it not only erases their actual struggle, their history, their differences, their movement. It also does the same and just confuses it for men and women. Not only that, I've seen to notice that well, actually, somebody kind of mentioned this today, and they were like, the media has never shown Black people, Black images in a good light. Why would they start now, right? So I started thinking about it. Literally, the media celebrates obesity, hypersexuality, independent women, women-led household, feminine men. These are the things that they literally will cheer on, celebrate, and things like this. And this is another reason why I have a problem with progressiveness. Because the more I learned about progressiveness, the more I saw how detrimental it is, particularly to the Black community, because you know we are the guinea pigs for everything. So, they say body positivity, right? But then you look at statistics and you have Black people that are leaders in things like heart disease and cancer. We're talking statistics here. I'm talking numbers. You have the slut culture, the slut movement, the gender fluid movement. And then when we look at the numbers, you have highest abortion rates. You have some of the highest STDs, highest HIV. When I look at the people of color movement, right? You literally have a struggle, a history being conflated and erased. So I started looking at all these things from a policy standpoint instead of a social standpoint. And I'm like, what's really happening, right? You have these movements for the independent woman. You have marriages statistically declining. You have families that are struggling because you aren't dependent on two households. You have all of these people that are popping up with these mental illnesses and depression, all of this destruction. But yet somehow the media is pushing it to me as positivity and freedom. I'm like, something is not adding up. And then they'll stick a word on it like progressiveness with a cute little bow. They'll give you a cute little speech about diversity and things like this. And I'm like, diversity at the expense of all the little black boys that are falling behind in math and science? Why is never what they sell in the media matching what is happening in the community? It doesn't add up. I just had this same conversation about guns, firearms, and we're going to actually talk about this more going into the Mike Bloomberg thing. But I just talked about this with guns. I turn on my freaking TV. I turn on to CNN. They tell me, "Oh, the white man is the biggest threat in the world, in the nation." They tell me, "Oh, we got to take the guns from the white supremacists, the white men with the AR-15s, and the white men blowing up, shooting up schools." But then when you go sit in the freaking court, who you think sitting in there? Who's sitting in there? So every single thing, when I started to look at these things that are supposed to be progressive, and I'm like, that looks destructive to me. At least the way it translates to policy. And this is why I talk about our languaging and what we accept socially, because then it starts to get pushed into policy. It starts to get pushed into the community. People actually start to believe these things. You have people, and I'm talking statistics and numbers. I've done this research. I'm rehashing this stuff. Many of y'all that's been rocking with me, y'all know we've talked about this. You have people pushing slut culture and gender fluidity and sexual fluidity and all this stuff. Are we looking at you even have people, I did a video on this a couple months ago, Team 17 magazine, if I remember correctly, or Teen Vogue coming out talking about we need to respect sex workers. So even now, people trying to normalize sex workers as if women just wake up at 12 or 13 and be like, you know what? I think I want to be an astronaut when I grow up, or a sex worker. The things we are normalizing are so destructive. So they'll push these things as normal and progressive. And I'm somebody that works in a community, has worked in a community, worked with mostly children dealing with all type of things, gender issues, LGBT children, poor children that don't have mothers, children that don't have fathers, children come from families on drugs, children that have been exploited, manipulated, all kind of things. Okay, I've seen it. Name it, I've seen it. Why, if we see these kids are being doped up, put on these drugs, all this depression, we see kids are falling out of schools, all these things going on, why do we not also talk about, thank you, Jerome Penn, I just had a PayPal that came through, thank you so much. Why do we not talk about the emotional and mental effects of these movements? Why? Why do we only push? And y'all know, man, I am not I am not an authoritarian, do as I say, live this way. I have plenty of friends who we just don't agree on some things. We don't agree. And that's fine. I have a wide range of friends. But I want to see balanced conversations in the media when we tell people, okay, you know, all right, you want to be sexually free. Okay. These are some of the effects of that. Emotionally, mentally, and physically. That may fall on the side of you having a good time and living your best life. It may. Who am I to tell you otherwise? But you know what also may happen? You may catch an STD. You may become depressed. It may be harder for you to pair bond in the future. If I tell people, yes, love yourself. Be positive about your body. When you look in a body, look at yourself in the mirror, feel good, love yourself. Don't be depressed. Don't beat yourself up. But potentially, these are some things that may happen because of the way you're eating. These are some things or some ways you may find it easier to live a healthier lifestyle. If I say, son, I'm going to love you regardless. I love you. You're my child. But you are not a girl. Now, how, when you move out of my house, how you plan to express yourself, whatever name you want to go by, whatever. That's you. You're an adult. And that will be your choice. But you need to know you are not a girl. You are trans, but you're not a girl. Somehow, these truthful, statistical, biological discussions have become wrong, offensive, hate speech, derogatory. This is the culture we're living in. I'm sorry, I happen to believe in nuance. I happen to believe that we are not a monolith. I happen to believe that we are not all the same. I happen to believe that some things are facts. Some things are biological. Some things can be pinpointed by statistics and measurements. That literally goes from whether we're talking about health to gender issues. All of this is related, y'all. But they are trying to push us into a fantasy world where everything that's real ain't real and everything that's fake is real. And I'm sorry, I just cannot go along to get along. I'm not going to do that. And you can say that with love. You can respect people. You can be a freaking decent human being. I believe in that. I believe in being a decent human being. I believe in being nice to people. Some of the people that I actually may not agree with, socially or politically, have been some of the sweetest, nicest, funniest, easiest to get along people. But I don't believe in pandering. I don't believe in that. And I won't do it. And the fact that we have politicians that are willing to do that, to fall at the feet of such a small group of people and allow radical voices of all these groups to be pushed to the forefront, to me, it's frightening. And if you don't believe in slippery slopes, you should. You should. It's happening. It's happening right now. It's happening right in front of our eyes. So, You know, because I'm sure I used to think that too. Oh, that ain't a big deal. Oh, that's just them. That's just that. Yeah, until it starts affecting you, until it starts creeping up in your kids' schools. Hey, King. These are the things we have to be mindful of, y'all. And it's happening right now. It is literally happening. And so you have to decide which way you going to land on some of these issues. But that brings me to the Mike Bloomberg thing, right? See, I really need to pull a lot of people cards. Let's watch the video first. Just in case y'all haven't. So I can start pulling some cards around here. I ain't gonna keep y'all for too much longer. This is our last little part. Let me see how many.
95% of your murderers, and murder victims fit one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out to all the cops. They are male minorities, 15 to 21. That's true in New York. It's true in virtually every city. And that's where the real crime is. You've got to get the guns out of the hands of the people that get killed. So you want to spend the money for a lot of cops in the street, put those cops where the crime is, which means in minority neighborhoods. So this is one of the unintended consequences is people say, oh my God, you are arresting kids for marijuana. They're all minorities. Yes, that's true. Why? Because we put all the cops in minority neighborhoods. Yes, that's true. Why do we do it? Because that's where all the crime is. And the way you get the guns out of the kids' hands is to throw them against the wall and frisk them. And then they say, oh, I don't want that. I don't want to get caught, so they don't bring the gun. They still have a gun, but they leave it at home.
All right, so y'all heard that. So this is Mike Bloomberg, and I think this was a couple of years ago, right? Addressing stop and frisk. So now, you know, everybody's talking about Mike Bloomberg being racist, this and the other. Now, one thing I find funny is that if you ever want to make a colorblind conservative see race, just talk about crime and talk about abortion. If you want to make a colorblind conservative see race, just talk about racism and white privilege, but do it while you're owning a liberal. Those blinders gonna come off so fast. That's one thing I learned from this whole situation. A lot of people that's colorblind seeing a lot of stuff now. How convenient. But nonetheless, what people need to remember is that a lot of times people like to look at these situations and be like, oh, that's them. That ain't got nothing to do with my community. That's them. That's happening over there. What I have told y'all, the things that y'all support, let slide and things like that, it is coming to your front door. It is coming. It is coming. Oftentimes what happens is Black people just tend to be the guinea pig for these agendas because, you know, they've already been putting in this work for so long trying to destroy the Black family and things like this. So we're just an easy target. If you don't believe me, if you don't believe it's coming for you, look at what's happening in Virginia right now with the gun control legislation. Look at now, you have all these people up in arms as they're feeling like now their Second Amendment rights are about to be taken in Virginia. But then when it's New York and Mike Bloomberg is saying, push them up against the wall, take their guns. Oh, you cool with that? You totally understand that. But when it comes down to Virginia, don't tread on me. I will not comply. Yeah, okay. Okay. So, if I remember correctly, Martin Luther King said, did he say a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere? Something similar to that. I'm paraphrasing. But this is why we have to be aware of what's going on. And we have to realize whether we're talking about the gender war, whether we're talking about LGBTQ issues, whether we're talking about gun confiscation, whether we're talking about hate speech or any of this, and no matter what aisle that falls under, believe me, it is coming to your front door next. It is coming. That's something y'all need to know. But regardless of that, y'all know I more like to focus on the data and the facts of the matter. You have a lot of these politicians that are racist, elitist, classist. It's classist. That's how you say that. Got so many words. Whatever you want to call it, sure. All majority of these celebrities, regardless of gender, race, religion, whatever, they live in an echo chamber. Even Joe Biden, I'll never forget this, as many people as this man meets had the audacity to act like Obama was just one of the most clean up, able to speak well Negroes he had ever met. So we have to remember, as much as y'all try to make these people like you or they have your same issues, just because they may or may not look like you or whatever the case may be, these people live in an echo chamber. That's why when people like us scream from the freaking mountaintops, we scream till our lungs go out, we don't like this movie, we don't like how this journalist did that, and you have all these people, these blue chicks, getting in line, they're on one accord. All right, these people constantly live in an echo chamber because they're around people like them, and a lot of them are pompous, very. They think they know better than you. They think they know what's best for you. They think they represent and speak for you. They think they have some type of authority over you. They think they're better than you. A lot of them. Whether y'all want to see or admit that or not, it is the truth. Whether we are talking about politics or entertainment. They think they're better than you. This is why they constantly try to speak for you and they constantly try to redirect the narrative. Maybe some of y'all don't want to accept that, but you're going to have to accept that, okay? So I'm going to move beyond that and more so because it's just the truth and it's just a part of life. So I'm going to move on from that and talk a little bit more about this in terms of why obviously some of this is problematic. Now, before I talk about this, I do want to preface this with the fact that, yes, we are not going to deny, because I'm not a liar. We're going to keep it real over here, and I'm not going to pander to you guys. Yes, there is crime. There is crime. There's crime in New York. There's crime in some of these urban areas. There's crime in these cities where you have these people packed up under each other. But what's often left out of this discussion is why and the reasons that's happening. When you have a city that is literally has unforgotten people, right? You struggle with people getting employment, and now you're literally talking about New York, where you have a group of people whose issues are being pushed out to the side for people that aren't even from there. You have things like this happening that all goes into the statistics that we see. And so if you're going to have good people also in these areas, these people need to be safe. All right? Because they're not going to tell you how long the freaking ambulances take to show up to the black neighborhoods. They're not going to tell you how long the cops take to show up. But then you want to throw these people up against the wall, take their guns. And he actually said, I need to run it back. Because there's a specific part he said in there that I wanted y'all to hear. That was the most, to me, I mean, the whole thing is kind of, but this most detrimental part.
Put those cops where the crime is, which means in the minority neighborhoods. So it's one of the unintended
hold on, y'all.
consequences is people say, oh my God, you are arresting kids for marijuana. They're all minorities. Yes, that's true. Why? Because we put all the cops in the minority neighborhoods. Yes, that's true. Why do we do it? Because that's where all the crime is. And the way you get the guns out of the kids' hands is to throw them against the wall and push them. And then they say, oh, I don't want that. I don't want to get caught, so they don't bring the guns. Murderers and murder victims. Then one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out to all the cops. They are male minorities, 15 to 25. That's true in New York. It's true in virtually every city. And that's where the real crime is. You got to get the guns out of the hands.
Now, this is what he said, y'all. And he didn't even realize. But this, and see, this is a part that a lot of people didn't notice, right? And I'm going to show y'all this. This is what he said. And this is when he's having a slip of a tongue. So you're trying to crack down on crime, okay? But yet you're having a slip of the tongue that tells your real motive. This is what he said. He said, you've got to get the guns. I don't know if y'all can see that. You've got to get the guns out of the hands of the people that are getting killed. You've got to get the guns out of the hands of the people that are getting killed. In his effort to, I don't know. I don't know if these people are so pompous that they really think that they can come in and just be some type of savior. And if there's some type of savior complex, but even in his slip of tongue, he didn't even realize that you are failing, because in fact, what you're trying to do has unintended consequences. You are trying to, in fact, according to his own words, get the guns out of the hands of the people that are being killed, not the killers. So when you see people saying this, they are not lying to y'all. When you see people saying that this is going to affect the good people in bad neighborhoods, they are not lying to y'all. This man just told you out of his own mouth. He didn't say, we're going to take the guns from the murderers. We're going to take the guns from the bad guys. We're going to take the guns from the criminals. He was being so honest that he said out of his own mouth, we're going to take the guns from people being killed. They do not want you to be able to protect your life. law-abiding citizens, they want you to have to suffer and even die as a result of other people that you ain't got nothing to do with. This just happens to be where you live. This is what they want. And they're not hiding it. They're saying it explicitly. So Alchemy said conspiracy theorist is no longer a scary label. Absolutely not. But you know the crazy part about it? Every now and again, people will throw the word conspiracy theorist around with me. And I literally every single time show y'all exactly what these people are saying and doing. I don't come in here and be like, oh, I think in California, the pedos are trying to get your kids. No, I will show you a video of a teacher sitting there saying, yes, we're teaching your kids pederasty. And what are you going to do about it? So at some point, it's not a conspiracy theory. I showed you out of this man's own mouth. He just told y'all, we need to get the hands out of the guns of the people being killed, right? We already know how long the ambulance takes to show up to these neighborhoods. We already know how long the police takes up to show to these neighborhoods, right? So you have this Mike Bloomberg that comes along and he's so pompous. He thinks he's so important. Woe is me. Woe is the Black people. I have to protect them. Even though you're not, because you're really protecting the criminals, because even in that clip, he still said the criminals are still gonna have their guns, they're just gonna be at home. So what? This man just spit out for y'all bar by bar. Yes, there's crime in these areas, but we're helping the good people get killed, and we know the bad guys are still going to have their guns at home. He just told you that out of his own mouth. And how people can think this is progressive, or this is good, or this does not have unintended consequences, I don't understand. Yes, there is crime. There is crime in these areas. That's why I absolutely want to be able to give people the tools they need to be able to protect themselves from these crimes, because the police have not done it. They've never done it. They've never done it. The government has never done it. Why you believe they're going to start today? I don't know. I don't know why you would believe that. Because of some cute speech. They use the word progressive and safety and gave you some crime statistics, put a little bow on top. This man just told you out of his own mouth, we have to take the guns from the people being killed. If it doesn't get any more straightforward than that, I don't know what. So then I want to know, well, if he's saying this, because, I'm trying to go into this as logical as possible. So I'm like, if he's saying this, stop and frisk must be working. There must be some type of reports to suggest that this is working, right? Oh, see, I'm still about to get back to pulling cards in 1 second. Let me show y'all these. Show you this. So, and this is just one that I came across, and I actually came across a couple of different articles, but this one had a chart on it. So this fact sheet, stop and frisk effect on crime in New York. So this was doing Rudy Giuliani's, and who else is Tom? Anyway, let me just read a little bit of this. So this fact sheet provides data on the effect of stop and frisk on crime in New York City. Stop and frisk was a police practice under which officers stop and search citizens allegedly without the reasonable suspicion required for these interventions. Concerns about the program first arose under Mayor Rudy Giuliani during William J. Braden's first tenure as police commissioner. After growing slowly in the early 2000s, stop and frisk began to rapidly increase in 2006, where there were 500,000 stops citywide. By 2011, the number peaked at 685,000. It then began to fall first to 53,000 stops in 2012. Stop and frisk became a central issue in the 2013 city mayoral race because of the concern that the program unconstitutionally targeted communities of color. In August 2013, federal district court judge Sharia Snidland found that stop and frisk was unconstitutional. The stop and frisk era formally drew to a close in January 2014 when newly elected Mayor Bill de Blasio settled the litigation and ended the program. So here is a chart here. All right. And this chart shows, all right, stop and frisk as relates to murder rates. And so you can see, let's see, murder rate. So as the murder rate declined, wait, is this the right one? Yeah. As the murder rate declined, it was not affected by the stop and frisk. And as the stop and frisk went down, the murder rates actually went down. Same thing with crime rates. All right, violent and property crime rates. Here's the same type of chart here. As the stops went down, violent crimes and property crimes also went down. So let's just take a look at the Fourth Amendment, just as a quick little reminder. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and a persons or things to be seized. Then I started asking myself, you got all these constitutionalists out here, right? All these constitutionalists. You got all these conservatives, right? Totally understand the Second Amendment. Don't tread on me. I will not comply. Yet, you literally have some people out here, somehow, some way, because the hypocrisy always shows up. It always shows up over time. Somehow, some way, making excuses for Bloomberg based on statistics, right? Crime statistics, or trying to own him as a racist when other times they're totally colorblind. Now, I just find it funny in the hypocrisy, right? There's been several studies to suggest that murder, the stop and frisk do not directly impact violence. Yet we know, just using our common sense, that stop and frisk will create hostility in these environments between the community and the police. But somehow people totally understand the Second Amendment, but the Fourth Amendment is lost on them, right? And the funny thing is, when I talk about statistics, people are also understand when I say less guns don't how am I trying to say this? People will totally understand when I say that more guns can equal less crime. More guns does equal less crime. But it's just lost on them when you say stop and frisk does not automatically equal less crime. So what is it hard to understand? And this is why I know you have so many hypocritical people. You have so many biased people that can only see stuff from their perspective. I've already told y'all. Yeah, it might start with somebody that you can't relate to, but it is coming to your front door. It is coming. So you better start understanding quickly. If you can understand crime rates when it comes to the Second Amendment, and oftentimes when you have more people taking up arms as a way to defend themselves, and crime goes down as a response, because first of all, the criminals know not to play with those people, and then second of all, you have a lot of people, particularly the people that's going to get their concealed carry, becoming more aware of their rights, being more defensive citizens, productive citizens, just understanding, right? So you see crime starts to go down. You need to have that same level of understanding when I tell you stop and frisk is not reflecting in the numbers of crimes like you think. So just like how y'all understand the Second Amendment, that we need to find a more thoughtful, holistic way to approach crime, to approach gun violence, so we're not infringing. Let me say this again, because it's a word, and I really need this to hit home. If I'm talking about the Second Amendment and you are one of those people that can totally understand that when I say that we need more holistic discussions around gun violence so it does not infringe on innocent, law-abiding citizens, you dang for sure better understand that when we're talking about the Fourth Amendment. And I say that in these areas, yes, we need to discuss crime, but we need to do it in a holistic way that shows that crime is being reduced without infringing on innocent people. If you understand one, you should be able to understand the other. It's just common sense. And when you remove your hypocrisies and you remove your biases, it'll be real easy to understand. If you're a constitutionalist, you need to be a constitutionalist. If you're a conservative, you need to be a conservative. You don't get to swing and sway to the one that fits your agenda and fits your safety. That's not how that works. And I've told y'all time and time again, yes, Black people may be the guinea pig, but it is coming to your front door. And so until people start to understand this legislation and this policy, and it comes back around to all of us in the end, you're going to see a lot more of what you see happening in Virginia, because y'all don't want to address the issues. I don't give a crap what community is affecting. If I feel like it's coming for me and my kids, I am going to talk about it, because believe me, it is coming. I've talked about this with the freaking Me Too movement. The Me Too movement. You started out all these white men, the actors and all this. That's how that started out. Y'all remember when Me Too, when people cards were first getting pulled? Y'all remember? Now who's the face of the Me Too movement? We saw the switch. We saw the magic trick right in front of our eyes. And so that's something that we should have been. And that's why that whole believe all women thing, as soon as I said, nope, I'm not even going to start that, because I already saw the setup. I saw it. I knew the setup. It was a progressive way to package. Y'all know. It was a progressive way to package an old story. It was a progressive way to package a new material. That's what that is. And so that goes back to this progressive thing. We have to be aware of how these slogans, these social pushes, these social norms are going to come back to our policy. We have to. We have to. And if you're going to call yourself a constitutionalist, a conservative, a small government people, hold yourself accountable. Stop being hypocritical. Because a lot of y'all don't even know. You don't even see it. You don't even see how biased you are. Either you for the Constitution or you not. You can't leave out parts. That's not how that works. Oh, well, that amendment don't affect my community. I'm back over here. So that's why I don't rock with a lot of these BS slogans. Because I know people, man, don't ever come in this room, watch my videos and think I don't know what's going on. I know for a fact you have people with biases. I know you have people with these hypocrisies. I know that. But the unfortunate part about it is I can let the emotional side of that affect me on the back end, on the policy side. I can't let somebody wearing a do not tread on me and being totally hypocritical when it comes to small government and when it comes to the Fourth Amendment. I can't let me seeing that stop me from wanting to protect my home or stop me from wanting to protest these things affecting my community negatively on the back end. So we have to be aware of these things. We can call them out, but at the end of the day, the policy has to match the needs of the community. We cannot fall into the further destruction because we're trying to follow the policy that's cute and progressive. That's just not how that works. LaVon said, "I got a don't tread on me flag." LOL. Y'all know I'm just talking about the general ideas and the general BS that comes at the helm of some of these slogans. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all know exactly what I mean. Y'all know that a lot of these people within these movements are supporting certain things that they say they support are very hypocritical. And I challenge all of us, because I am not perfect. Like I told y'all, I had to sit there and watch that Mike Bloomberg video a couple of times. I had to watch it a couple of times because at first I felt what he was saying, but then I wanted to go back and dissect it and see, okay, yeah, all right, this may hurt my feelings, make me feel some type of way, but I'm like, how can I look at this in an objective and logical way? What's the statistics? What's the numbers? How is this actually affecting us on the back end? Is this policy helping crime? Is it causing more crime or less? Is this treading on the Constitution or not? These are the things we have to look at, even beyond the initial ouch. Okay, it made me feel some type of way. So, yeah, I didn't been on here for a while. But I just had to get that off my chest. Chest. I had to get that off my chest. But I am, and y'all do the same for me. Y'all do the same for me. Hold me accountable so I can grow and learn as a person. And even for the people that I don't agree with, this is so funny. Even for the people that I don't necessarily agree with, I want to see you hold yourself to a standard where you are consistent. That's the least you can do. Pick a position, because some of my positions, I'm like I'm solid. I got this. This is my evidence. This is my data. This is how I feel about it. I know my position on this. It's so funny because and this is just random, and then I'm gonna finish up, but it's so funny, right? Because you have all these people always talking about Black people can't be racist. Black people can't be racist. And all this, right? I know y'all seen it online. So I get on Instagram. This was like 2 days ago. And Cash Doll, she's a rapper, if you don't know who that is. So supposedly she posted a picture of all the Disney princesses, right? And Pocahontas, Cinderella, the girl from Prince and the Frog, I can't even think of her name right now. All these princesses, and they had on the mask. This petty. They had on these masks, and you had Mulan on there, which is the Asian princess, and she didn't have on a mask. And Cash Doll caption said, "You can never be too careful," or something like that, trying to make jokes about the coronavirus. And so I just went to the comments because I want to see what people were saying. All these comments. "You're so racist. There's a racist. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, you racist." Like back to back. And I'm like, can y'all pick a side and stick with it? Because I promise you, wherever the wind blows, that's how y'all opinions going that day. Like, pick a side. I mean, at least hold firm in your convictions without just following what some blue check is telling you. Like, so I just thought, I was just like, wow. I said, these people don't even know. Then now all of a sudden, what they always hollering about can't be, it is. But anyway. My mom said coronavirus is a hell of a drug. But all right, y'all. So that's all I want to talk about tonight. Shout out to my Patreons. Thank y'all so much for supporting what I do. Shout out to Valdez, Ray, and Michael Ray. Thank y'all so much, my VIP patrons. Thank you to Kenny Joe for his super chat. Thank you to Jerome Penn for the PayPal blessing. Thank y'all so much for everybody that continues to share my content. We're trying to grow, get to 13,000. Let me get to 10,000 first. Get to 10,000 subs. So y'all keep sharing. Thank y'all for always rocking with me on these Tuesdays. And all right, y'all, I'll see y'all later. Everybody have a good night. Bye.